I recently did some maintenance on my paint booth, and during the middle of it, my wife told me I should record it, so here's a new video for y'all. I actually get a lot of comments asking how I built my paint booth, and while this doesn't show that whole process, you can clearly see that it was constructed from PVC pipe and duct tape. I custom built this frame to fit in our garage, including space for the garage door above, while still having enough room to work on several projects. After the frame was constructed, I hung plastic sheeting to create the walls, ceiling, and floor, which is where we are now. The plastic sheeting I like to use is this big, long, thick... Wait a minute.
What do you want?
Let me introduce you to my friend Critter. Critter is a squirrel. Critter digs in my plants. Critter is addicted to peanuts.
You want a peanut?
Of course he does. I keep this bucket of seeds and nuts in the garage. Along with peanuts, it has a variety of stuff that squirrels and birds enjoy. I'll put this in the description in case anyone's interested. Critter and I became friends after I started putting water, then seeds out for backyard squirrels last summer. While most of the other squirrels wait for food to be put out, Critter will come to the garage or even meet me as I get out of the car as soon as we get home just to get his daily peanut ration. The whole thing is pretty rewarding and I get cute shots like this, but I still hate him for digging in our plants. Alright, back to work. As I was saying, I like to use this thick 6mm plastic sheeting because it holds up really well and lasts a long time. This is a 10 by 100 foot roll of plastic. I'll put this down in the description in case anyone else needs something similar. I was working on this right side wall before I began recording, so this is where we'll get started. This wide Gorilla Tape is what I tend to use. When I'm hanging the plastic sheeting, I'll use clamps to hold the sheeting in place so that the weight of the plastic doesn't pull the tape off. Then, I use the strips of tape to secure the plastic sheeting. Once the section is all taped off, I'll move the clamp forward and repeat the process. Instead of having to secure the plastic sheeting to the base, I found that I can just pull it under the frame and attach it to the floor. This is much less time consuming and also allows me to attach the floor sheeting later, which keeps the walls nice and tight. I had to make this section lower because of the garage door, so there's excess plastic that needs to be cut off before taping. Now that this wall is finished, I'm able to scoot the paint booth frame little by little until it's resting against the wall. I use some tape and a staple gun to secure the plastic on this wall because sometimes the wind blows in and rustles the plastic on that side, which creates an annoying effect in my sped up videos. With that side done, I can start working on the other side while also tightening the ceiling plastic so it isn't hanging down. I also need to remove the old tape from this side before applying any more tape. Before I started, I noticed a clamp that got left on the ceiling plastic, so I struggled to get that back for a bit. After I removed the old tape, I pulled the ceiling plastic tight and secured it. The wall plastic will be secured to this, adding an extra layer of security and keeping it tight. Once I have the ceiling secured, I'm able to hang the left side wall. Since I'm leaving two openings on each end of the left wall, I'll only have to hang plastic on these two sections. In previous versions of this paint booth, I had one opening in the back that could close as needed, but I've always wanted to have another one in the front for easier access. I like to have the one in the back for ventilation, but walking around to enter the booth becomes pretty annoying, so this is more of a convenience thing, but I want it. These small sections are much easier to hang than the full wall. I'll just hang the plastic with the clamps, trim off the excess plastic, leaving the bottom hanging so I can roll it up as needed. Everything's starting to come together at this point. I just need to hang the front plastic and cover the floors. The front plastic is basically just a big version of the small sections I just created. I'll tape off the top, but the sides will be secured with clamps when it's in the down position. Most of the paint booth is complete, but now that the sun is set, you can see my lack of light in the booth. The fluorescent light that I usually have hanging here has gone out, so I'll be replacing it with a new one. I need plenty of light so that I can shoot my videos on this wall here. The light that I'm going to use is this Champion LED shop light. The light that I had last time was a bit too dim, so I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of lighting in that area this time. The last time I hung a light here, I had to drill holes in the fixture and attach it to the PVC pipe with zip ties, so I was relieved to find out that this one allowed me to hang it with just 2 screws. You just have to slide the light fixture on the screws and it stays in place. The lighting wasn't the best at this time, so I decided I'd wait and do this in the morning. Hanging this light fixture was really easy. I drilled 2 small holes 36 inches apart, screwed a screw on each side, and then slid the light fixture on. I'll admit it does look a bit sketchy, but I've tugged and pulled on it and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. I was very surprised by the amount of light this put out, maybe even a little bit too much compared to my other lights. Since the other end of the paint booth is a bigger space, I used 2 lights on this end. I already have holes for these lights, so reinstalling them was easy. After turning on all of my lights and comparing them side by side, it's obvious that my older lights don't put out the same amount of light as the new lights. This new fixture does allow me to lower the brightness, but I think I may end up upgrading the other 2 so that I have an even brighter workspace to record and work in. Now I can finish up all the walls by attaching the excess plastic to the floor. As I mentioned before, this is much easier than trying to attach it to the bottom of the frame. I'm attaching it with smaller pieces of tape because it'll be secured even more by the floor plastic I'll be adding a bit later. For the floor, I'll be cutting it to fit the remaining space, then attaching it to the excess plastic from the walls. The tape sticks to the plastic much better than the floor, and I found it prevents me from having to replace the tape as often. With the floor done, my paint booth is pretty much ready for work. I might tape some builder's paper on the floor at some point because this plastic gets pretty slippery, but this will do for now. Whenever I'm ready to paint, all I need to do is remove any clamps holding the flaps up, lower the flaps, clamp them down, and I'm good to go. And this is what it looks like from the inside when everything is closed. I'm very happy with how bright it is in here, which is important for working on my projects and shooting good video. The lights are a bit off, but I can adjust that. I'll probably just get 2 more LED shop lights and I'll be good. I look forward to getting my furniture projects in here and getting back to work. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you have any questions or just like to say hi. Be nice to squirrels, and I'll see y'all again soon.